Hi.
Excited to introduce Dan Judd. Yes, let's start with a little, is it a honoring? An
It's a
honoring.
bow.
It's a bow. It is.
Bowing to our practice, not to you as an
Yes.
individual, but to this amazing practice you're doing, bringing so many good
Mm.
people and so many things together.
To the larger all that is that's
Yeah.
allowed all of this to be, really.
Yeah.
Because it certainly wouldn't happen without a lot of people and systems and technology and other good things. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
so I'm
Amazing.
excited to honor you as a dedicated practitioner and compassionate hospice chaplain. You reside in Smithfield, Utah. Dan carries a deep commitment to spiritual care and emotional support. He spent many years providing comfort and guidance to patients and their families during life's most challenging moments. Dan earned his PhD in education, focusing on the influence of computer use on the social and intellectual development of students. His continued study of human development, combined with his experience in hospice care and spiritual practice, has propelled him into an investigation of death and the promises of healing into eternal life, given by our greatest spiritual guides, Jesus Christ and the Buddha. This is the conversation he invites today. Throughout his career, Dan has been passionate about promoting conversations around end of life issues, the importance of spiritual well being, and the healing power of compassion and connection. In addition to his work in hospice care, he's actively involved in the local Buddhist Sanga as well as the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. His wider view of spirituality gives him space to hold a broad spectrum of spiritual seekers. In his personal life, Dan enjoys hiking and backpacking in the beautiful landscapes of the Intermountain West and spending quality time with friends and family. He believes in the power of mindfulness and meditation, bringing others to more fully explore their beliefs, fears, and hopes. So there we go. And I think the
Yes.
idea of death is not the end is where Dan is going to take us today. Well, let's do a quick how do we know each other? Okay. So
Okay.
I joined our local Buddhist Sangha in 2015-ish,
Okay.
and it was through 𝐼𝐻WG&x, who it was a
Hmm.
big step for me to, do a consultation with him
Ha.
in a fellow practitioner's basement, and that felt like doable. And then to step into, an actual Sangha as, a member of another church, it was different. But I will
Yeah.
tell you, my soul was reached in just the very introduction to that and the intentions that are set in those
Yes. Yes.
gatherings. It reached
Likewise.
the depths of
Yeah.
my soul.
Uh-huh.
And I knew that whatever was there was dear, and there was love there. There was a presence that it was vast,
Mm.
and it was also very individualized at the same time.
Hmm. Hmm. Good.
And so
You know,
that
I
was my
had that
experience.
I had a similar experience. I grew up in the church and was active member, and then just needed to some support for my meditation practice when I had a
Mhm.
serious operation and couldn't really revive my meditation practice. So I went to the Sangha, and like you, I was touched not not only by the opening intention, but the closing. It's
Yeah.
may all of us here today know peace. May all of us here today be free from suffering. May all of us here today live in happiness. May all beings, without exception,
Without exception.
live in happiness. May all beings, without exception, be free from suffering. May all beings, without exception, dwell in peace. And I thought, that's
Yeah.
it. That's what
That's
I
it.
want. I want to feel that for everybody. And
Yeah.
compassion goes out to those who aren't living
Who aren't living. Yes.
and
It, it,
don't know happiness. Maybe
yeah.
simply because they don't have enough food.
Right. There's external reasons, a lot of internal reasons. So
Hmm.
working in mental health, I could say, I was kind of inducted to mindfulness as a clinical practice,
Hmm.
and then discovered, oh, it's kind of the Western like name for Buddhism.
That
And
is true. That is
so that
true.
was interesting.
Yeah, it is true.
But in my book, Being at Zero,
Uh-huh.
Dan has mentioned I went to my first, it was like a 4-day retreat in silence with a local Dharma teacher,
Uh-huh.
Sam
Sam Akers.
Akers. Yes.
Yeah.
And and we went the entire like 24 hours without speaking. We got 20 minutes to speak during dinner. And I
Hmm.
remember I picked Dan for my 20
Uh,
minutes to speak to because I was just drawn to you of the dozen, or more people there as kind of a safe place, like
oh,
your bio
good.
suggests. And
Mm.
so that you embrace both, the Christian beliefs and background that I hold dear and the Buddhist path that became dear to me.
Good. Good. Well,
All
thank you.
right,
I really
there we go.
appreciate being being a safe place. That's
Yes, you are that. So I will invite you to share your screen. You should have access. Green button at the bottom there.
okay.
You got it.
So I do have the, oh, I did have it up. Here it is. So I'll need to go to the slideshow. I wasn't ready quite for that. So glad that we're here.
Yeah, we're
And
practicing.
and I'd like to invite y'all into a discussion of death and the promises of eternal life given by Jesus Christ and the Buddha. And it's not necessary now, but I will begin in with a 5-minute meditation intended to ground us and open our hearts. So would you like to enter a meditation, Christine?
Yes, I would.
Okay, okay. So for those who are present in the conference and not just for Christine, I will invite them to get comfortable, even if that means sitting or lying on the floor as the beginning of this meditation. So it's important that we find a position that's just nice and cozy for us, and because we'll enter the meditation. And then I don't know how this will come across Zoom. I haven't altered my audio, but I'm going to start with 3 bells and end with 3 bells. So I invite you at the beginning, if you're comfortable with it, to close your eyes and just allow that relaxation that is so similar to sleep just to occur. As you relax the body, I want you to bring your attention to gravity and the way you're being pulled into the earth. And I want you to imagine that this is love, the loving embrace of your Mother Earth, our Mother Earth, that she's holding us. Gravity is her way of expressing love, of holding us close. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine how difficult life would be without this embrace of our Mother Earth, this close holding that she's doing? She loves us. She holds us near. Relax into her embrace. Feel her love. In this place of relaxation, bring your attention to the breath. Again, I ask you to use your imagination. It's easy to say my breath, but now think only the breath. Notice it moving in and out. With the breath, noticing the breath, go deeper and notice your heart. Thich Nhat Hanh has taught us, breathing in, I'm aware of the heart. Breathing out, I smile at the heart. Breathing in, I'm aware of the heart. Breathing out, I smile at the heart. Noticing the miraculous heart, feeling heartfulness, open-heartedness, allows us to take a step back and notice the whole body alive. Take a step back further, or a step above, and see how the body is surrounded by life. In this moment, see that you are not the body. The body is there, relaxed and breathing. The body is alive, but it is surrounded also by all life, by other beings, other people. Life is not just in the body. Life is in the breath. Gently return the attention to the body, to the heart, to the breath. Be here in this amazing moment. Celebrate. Today is the Day of the Dead. That will be November 1st. We're approaching the Day of the Dead. Dia de los Muertos. So it's a reason to celebrate. As you might be aware, Dia de los Muertos is celebrated among the Latino community, Latinos throughout the southern portion of this hemisphere will be celebrating on November 1st the continuing life of their loved ones, their understanding, their belief that they continue. Because death is not the end. Jesus Christ and Buddha have given us some explicit, though they may be clouded by time, explicit instructions on how to reach eternal life. We can escape death by applying these Buddhist and Christian practices. These three practices overcome death. Faith. We know that faith is an action verb. Mindfulness, meditation, and loving kindness. Here's an example of faith as practiced by Jesus. Verily, verily, I say unto you, he that believeth on me hath everlasting life. I am that bread of life. This is the bread which cometh down from heaven, that a man or woman may eat thereof, or any person may eat thereof and not die. I am the living bread which came down from heaven. If anyone eateth of this bread, they shall live forever. And the bread that I will give is my flesh, which I will give for the life of the world. In Buddhism, living bread is a metaphor for internal nourishment or contemplation. In Buddhist teachings, it replaces our craving for external sources of happiness. So you can understand the words of Jesus as saying, I am the bread of life, saying that contemplation of my words, of my flesh, will lead to eternal life. True happiness, they use the Buddha's teaching, true happiness comes from within. Buddhist teachings emphasize that lasting happiness cannot depend on external conditions, which are constantly changing. Mindfulness practice helps us discover an internal, reliable source of well-being, which is awareness, or being in the moment, or as Eckhart Tolle calls it, the power of now. The Buddhist path is a source of nourishment that includes the practice of breath meditation as an alternative, more reliable source of nourishment, allows one to be in the world without suffering from it. And the next practice is meditation. Jesus taught in John 6, the Jews therefore strung among themselves, saying, how can this man give us his flesh? And Jesus said unto them, verily, verily, I say unto you, except ye eat the flesh of the Son of Man and drink his blood, ye have no life in you. Whoso eateth my flesh and drinketh my blood hath eternal life, and I will raise him up at the last day. For my flesh is meat indeed, and my blood is drink indeed. He that eateth my flesh and drinketh my blood dwelleth in me, and I in him. So we know through the story that Jesus is eternal, and so eating his flesh and drinking his blood is a promise, again, of eternal life. Jesus might be directing us to a type of meditation called mindful eating. So the thought of consuming someone's flesh and blood is at first abhorrent. We have to think of Christ as a being of light and saying, Lord, this is thy flesh, then pausing to savor it. I eat it that I might dwell in thee. And this changes the experience of physical eating to a spiritual experience. So the Buddha taught similarly, vigilance is the path to the deathless, negligence the path to death. The vigilant do not die, the negligent are as if already dead. This vigilance starts in setting meditation. So it might be good at this point to, to check for understanding.
Those chapters have always just been like, oh, are we really talking about eating flesh and drinking blood?
Yeah,
My mind will go to like the
carnivore
cultures, yes, the
cannibals
cultures that were really dark, right?
Yeah, and most people do. Most people don't get into it, but my understanding is that, and this is through the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints that Jesus is the creator of the earth. So it begins to make sense when he says, my flesh is meat indeed, and my blood is drink indeed. That he's saying anything you eat is really from me. Anything you drink is from me. Source, I am the source.
And when you talk about light, that it's a spiritual partaking.
Yes,
It
yes.
does change that. And so it's like I can picture like this light that comes into my being.
Sure.
As a choice to take it in.
Sure.
So that was really cool. That was the first time I'd seen that visualization. So it's beautiful.
It's been a wonderful practice for me, and it syncs beautifully with the Buddha's teaching. So mindful eating is the process of eating with an intent, an understanding of it being sacred, of it being
like you take in light with the food.
That's right. Right.
And it can shift. I know, like we talk about a frequency model, and the higher frequency something is, and foods on that same like calibration, like you can have very low frequency foods, like junk food, no nutritional value. And then you have very high frequency foods that are superfoods that are based on really high antioxidants. And think about, they're sourced almost by the sun and by living waters and nature, and
that's right.
And so the higher that frequency goes, and you can be even beyond that, it's not even so much physical as spiritual. And so cool.
Yes, yes.
Get it. All right.
So that's another mindfulness practice. And the Buddha taught just vigilance, so that caring for our thoughts, caring for our speech, caring for our actions is vigilance. Vigilance is the path to the deathless. So that's another way of saying vigilance is the path to eternal life. Negligence leads us to death. The vigilant do not die, the negligent are as if already dead.
I didn't think about, they're literally like opposites. That's pretty cool.
That negligence, they are opposites. That's how the Buddha taught many times, was taking the polarity of things.
Yeah.
But our vigilance begins in meditation. It can be a sitting meditation, or it can be a walking meditation, or it can be an eating meditation, or it can be a standing meditation. The next practice, Jesus taught unconditional love. So just an aside, I could think that I could probably end the whole thing right there, depending upon how much time I have. I have a little bit more practice of unconditional love and the Buddha's teaching for loving kindness. So Jesus taught infinite love, but the Buddha taught what that meant. And the Buddha taught that true love is made up of not only friendliness, affection, loving kindness, but it's also made up of compassion, appreciative joy, or just called gladness, and equanimity.
Go back to the previous slide. So that was...
But I say unto you that you resist not evil, but whosoever shall smite thee on thy right cheek, turn to him the other also. Ye have heard that it hath been said, thou shalt love thy neighbor and hate thine enemy. But I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you. That's unconditional love.
Yeah. And then back to the Buddha slide. So what I understand about the Buddha is that there's a entity, I guess, called Mara, right?
Yeah.
And Mara represents the enemy, more or less, qualities that we don't want anywhere near us. And Mara comes knocking on the door and the Buddha invites her into
That's
right.
right. That's right.
So it's like, well, let's sit down and chat. Help me
Yeah.
understand you,
Yeah.
or what do you have to offer?
That's
And
right.
and so that is still an unconditional love. It's just,
That's
yeah,
another great example of
there you go.
unconditional love. And
Yeah.
that's a great story to tell. That's a great parable to include.
Yeah.
This quickly gets me to the practice, the chant that I wanted to share. And it's a simple song, and it's a way that I invoke these divine abodes. And so I was hoping to do a sing along and hand this out and sing this chant that I use. We won't do all 4 infinite abodes, but we'll do loving kindness and compassion. I would preface that by saying people that are not comfortable chanting along or don't feel they know it, that it's just as powerful to say the thoughts in your own mind. And that's what I do in the morning when I chant this. I'm not chanting out loud, I'm chanting it in my mind. But the Buddha taught that thoughts are actions. And so it's just as well that you're thinking it and putting wholesome, skillful thoughts into your mind as it is to be chanting it aloud. I will abide, pervading 1/4, with a heart endowed with loving kindness. Likewise the second, likewise the third, likewise the fourth, so above and below, around and everywhere, and to all as to myself. I will abide, pervading the all-encompassing world, with a mind endowed with loving kindness, abundant, exalted, immeasurable, without hostility and without ill will. I will abide, pervading 1/4, with a heart endowed with compassion. Likewise the second, likewise the third, likewise the fourth, so above and below, around and everywhere, and to all as to myself. I will abide, pervading the all-encompassing world, with a mind endowed with compassion, abundant, exalted, immeasurable, without hostility and without ill will.
Beautiful. Thank you.
So I'd like to end with this quote from the Buddha: contentment is the foremost wealth, health is the foremost possession, trust the foremost kinship, and nirvana the foremost happiness. Thank you for your kind attention. May what is offered be for your benefit and for the benefit of all beings.
Beautiful.